Good afternoon, and welcome to another episode of On Brand from Muse by Clio. I'm Nicole Purcell, the president of the Clio Awards, and right next to me I have Mr. Tim Nutt, our editor-in-chief of Muse by Clio. How are you this afternoon, Tim?
I'm doing well. Happy Thursday.
It's
not Thursday as we're doing this, but we're
but happy Thursday anyway. Cheers to you. Cheers. I am so excited for today's interview because I feel like it's a family member. He's been with us through judging at our events, doing student awards with us. So to me, this is like interviewing a family member. So I'm excited.
Totally. He's also one of the most creatively driven CMOs in the business. He's the global CMO of Restaurant Brands International, which of course comprises Burger King, Popeyes, and Tim Hortons. And let's say hello to Fernando Machado.
Yay!
Yay!
Hello, hi!
Hey guys.
So happy to have you.
I'm so happy to see you guys.
So good to see your face. Right away off the bat, I'm always asking everyone, work from home, like, how's it been? Where are you? Who you're living with? I mean, I know Oliver, the man, who, thank you for sharing him with us. He is adorable on Instagram all the time. How's it going?
I think that it's funny when you said, like, happy Thursday. And then Tim was like thinking for a second, like, what day is today? I think we're all like feeling the same way, you know, like, what day is today? I need to check my calendar like every day. It feels a little bit Groundhog Day.
Yeah.
Look, I mean, I'm like hopeless, optimistic person. So I know it's a tough time for business, for people in general. I try to keep focus on the positive things, you know, like you saw Oliver, he's 6 months old. So I can see Oliver much more because I'm working from home, and every break I can go there and play a little bit with him than if I were like in the office, you know, like I'm a very I like staying at home. I can't complain. It's driving my wife, Annie, nuts. Partially because I'm home all the time, partially because she loves like to go out, and Miami's a scene to visit places. And after so long, just locked at home, it starts to take a toll. But for me, I'm cool. You know, like I think we are all like super busy blending personal life and professional life because there is no other way. And I think that hopefully we're going to come out of this stronger, you know, like with like a more empathetic leadership style, more authentic leadership style, and with a better work-life balance, hopefully.
Awesome. I mean, this time last year we were at Cabo judging for Clio's, which was amazing. And it was so nice to be together and talk with each other. Do you think now is a challenging time for creativity, like not being with your teams, your agencies, not being, you know, collaborative together in an office or whatever? Do you think it's a little harder now, or it's better for creativity?
No, look. I mean, we are very used to do work from distance. You know, like lots of like the best work that I had the opportunity to work with, it was with agencies that were not even based on the same country where I was. We end up like being friends. You know, like I'm friends with Pancho, friends with Anselmo, friends with Ricky, friends with Bjorn. All those guys, Gabriel from FCB, and like I miss the guys as much as I miss my regular friends. But the work continues, and I think that adversity, creativity can help you navigate through adversity. So I think that we've been trying to keep the creative bar on the high. Of course, we have to adjust the way we go about things because of the context outside. And it's a bit business as usual, but surely, like I miss the team, and I miss grabbing a beer with them and talking to them in person.
Yeah. Well, I know you guys have done a lot of fun things during COVID for not just for Burger King, for Popeyes as well. And I think Carly's going to show a few images that have been really fun lately. I wonder if you could.
I love that.
There's the social distancing crowns.
We call that the crown brero.
Nice. Wondering how you guys kind of balanced over the last few months, you know, giving people a smile, versus sort of continuing to drive the business, drive sales.
Really good question. Like, look, I think that in the beginning, when COVID starts to hit us hard, you know, like, and it was like a wave. At least that's how it felt for me. Like, it first hit us in Asia. We have like a big business in Asia, and we had like restaurants shut down. Then it started to arrive in Europe. and then had like restaurants shut down and the office was shut down. And then the NBA got canceled, and then the next day, like we were shut down here in the US. And I think that the first thing that we did as a marketing team, and honestly, like I would love to take credit for that, but I think we have such a strong marketing team. It's so nimble and so empowered that and the whole team gravitated towards doing the right thing, which was to use our brands as a power of good, like and trying to help society and people out there without doing the back of the envelope ROI calculation. You know what I mean? Like, so for instance, in the case of BK, we gave away like 1 million kids meals because like kids could not, like many kids, they eat at school in the US, right? And since the schools were closed, like some families were struggling, so we give away 1 million kids meals. With that, Popeyes gave away like 1 million family meals in Louisiana, which was one of the areas most affected in the US. Tim Hortons offered coffee and baked goods to first responders, volunteers, healthcare professionals in Canada, helping the people who are helping the community, which is kind of like a brand about the community. And that was the first thing we did. And I think that basically like gave us the right or the opportunity to go above and beyond. I think that the brands that jump straight into promotion or trying to do something funny, like I think that we had to like pave our way to that. So we did that. In our case, depending on the country you were in, we had a very different business situation, right? In the US, our drive-through was always open, the delivery was working, we had the dine-in closed, but people were unclear about that. So after starting to help society, we did some stuff that was more like very informative, talking about the new procedures in the restaurant, talking about the fact that the drive-through is open, like really basic, because people like were afraid and scared and they didn't know what was going on. And we continue to do things that help society. Like Burger King did a campaign that was called "Stay Home of the Whopper," which was from FCB. We kept doing things, and then I think we realized that after you stay at home watching CNN for more than 72 hours, it gets very heavy, and it was very doom and gloom. You know what I mean? And Burger King is a brand that is a fun brand in a fun product category, and we play a role of like putting a smile on people's face. So we started to incorporate back that vibe of the brand, and then we started to have ideas popping everywhere, like the Crown Brero. It's an idea that, if I recall correctly, came from Germany. But we had like the social distancing Whopper, which was a Whopper with 3 times more onion, that came from Italy. We had like, and we didn't rehearse this, but like that came from Italy. We had the Stay Home of the Whopper from the US. We had a campaign in France where the restaurant was completely shut down, so we couldn't sell. And they did a partnership with Uber Eats and Carrefour to sell the ingredients of the Whopper so that people could like cook at home, which is very self-deprecating and very Burger King. So we evolved, not we evolved, like we had building blocks, help society, have like the didactic communication, explain that we're open and what the things that we're doing to show that we were a safe option to people and to the crew. And then on top of that, we brought back the kind of like the spirit of the brand and the kind of like the purpose, let's say, of the brand, which is like to put a smile on people's face. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of like how it evolved to go back to doing something that was more on the right personality for the brands.
So yeah, and with Popeyes, you looked at consumer behavior and you saw a lot of people ordering pizza, and you did an interesting sort of campaign around that where you had a guy. Well, maybe you could explain it.
Yeah, like people. I think that some people look from the outside and they think that we are all crazy, but honestly, there is a bit of method to the madness. We saw Popeyes is a brand that's doing really well even during these tough times. Fried chicken travels really well, so delivery became like a very important channel for us. And we don't have. I mean, we have many more Burger Kings than Popeyes in the US. So the moment the moment people are ordering delivery, it doesn't really matter how many restaurants are out there, right? I mean, the distance is the click of a button. So it benefits the brand disproportionately, the Popeyes brand. So we saw that Popeyes was growing, and we saw that something else was growing, like pizza was growing. And it's a crowd pleaser, right? I mean, if you have a bunch of friends at home, not that people are doing that these days, but just as an example, if you had a bunch of friends at home and okay, let's order something to eat, pizza is like easy. Like you order a mozzarella, a pepperoni, you are covered, right? If I had to order sandwiches, it's a bit more complicated because I don't want mustard, you don't want onion, and it becomes harder to please. And fried chicken is somewhat similar. Like we saw a lot of growth on our family bundles and family orders, which is kind of like the same reason, like why people are ordering pizza. So we thought it would be a clever business idea to, instead of target KFC or Chick-fil-A or like other brands that would be your normal competitor, for us to increase the consideration level of Popeyes among people that were thinking about pizza. And all this came from our Popeyes team. You know what I mean? Like this is like Bruno from Popeyes North America, together with Paloma, with Popeyes Global, and working with Gut, which was the agency for that came up with this idea and helped develop all the assets. And it's a campaign that we started, I think, like 2-3 weeks ago. And we had a new leg of the campaign coming, I think, yesterday. I saw on the Muse from Clio. I think I tweeted the article from Muse from Clio, where you explain what you're doing with the autocorrect, which I thought it was a really fun way to entertain people that might be bored at home. When someone leaves the phone unattended, you can go there and do that game. It's not a game, but do that trick on the phone.
Yeah. One more COVID thing I wanted to mention is the Christmas store, which I love this idea. Yeah. People over the years are so upset when Christmas advertising comes in like September. 2020. Everyone wants 2020 to be over. So you guys dressed up a store in July for Christmas. So first of all, could you tell us a little bit about this idea? And also, could you tell us sort of about your general strategy where you do something at a store and then you kind of draft off the PR of the visual?
Yeah, so in this case specific, I think that one thing that we do really well at RBI is social listening plus moving really fast. We are all the brands that we have, they have great examples of us seeing that something was happening and moving really fast, because pop culture moves really fast. Like if everyone is talking about something and you come and talk about that same something 2 weeks later, it's too late, my friend. Like people already moved on. And what we saw was like so many memes and so many like comments in socials for people revolving around I wish that this year is over. I'm done with 2020, and then the guys from David Brazil suggested, why don't we celebrate Christmas? In July. And I don't even know if they realize that Christmas in July is a thing, because it doesn't translate in Brazil in Portuguese. Maybe they do. But then when the David Maia guys saw the idea, they're like, oh my God, this will work really well in the US. And this was like 3-4 days before we shot. Like they brought the idea. We saw, now let's do it tomorrow. And then the Burger King North America team, Rogelio, Rachel, Jorge, Flavia, I will probably forget some names and get pissed at me later on. But like they like had the idea on a Wednesday, shot over the weekend, and launched on Monday. And they were able to tie the idea to a 2-for-5 promotion that we had to get even more firepower, like with media behind, and it worked really well. But there are so many examples like this. We did something with a good example from Popeye was when Beyonce launched the Ivy Park collaboration, and people in social media were saying that the Ivy Park collection looked like the Popeyes uniform, and then literally like, over the weekend we did a whole shooting kind of like similar to the one that Beyonce did with real crew members, and we created a website to sell uniforms and donated the money to people in need. But that is was done like this, and I think that if you want be relevant and tap into some of these pop culture opportunities, you need to move fast like that. Does that help answer?
Absolutely.
Yep.
I thought I heard.
Sorry, guys, that I had to get up because this one wants to get involved with the conversation. Obviously,
bring it.
Sorry about that. Maybe we can take a cut or something at one time. All right. So I know next, something that I would love to talk about, another piece of work, is the cow farts. I want to show we have a clip of it, and then I have a question I want to talk about it a little bit because I think it's amazing.
Let's do it.
When cows fart and burp and splatter, well, it ain't no laughing matter. They're releasing methane every time they do. And that methane from the rear goes up to the atmosphere and pollutes our planet, warming me and you. Yes, that methane that they pass is a greenhouse gas that'll trap the sun's heat and change our climate too. Gee, is it hot in here, or is it just me? So to change their emissions, Burger King went on a mission, testing diets that would help reduce their farts.
That's a start.
And now there ain't no question that it's helping cows' digestion, adding land and grass so they can play their part.
I love that. I love that little boy. I love all of them. Why a musical? Number one, why did you go with that?
Yeah.
And how important is the environment to Burger King?
Okay, so let me answer the other way around.
Okay.
So look, one of the key challenges we have in all like consumer goods, fast food, you pick the industry. I think is to force our companies and to push our brands to do the right thing. Like I grew up in Unilever. I worked there for 18 years, and one of the things I've learned when working there was the importance of sustainability, the importance of purpose, and I surely like that. That influences the way I go about things. And since my beginning here at BK, in the beginning it was just Burger King, right? When I joined, we acquired Popeyes and Tim Hortons and became RBI at later date. We always pushed to improve the quality of the products we have by removing artificial stuff. We always push to improve the environmental sustainability impact of our brand with materials that were more recycled, with like improving recyclability of stuff in the restaurant, diminishing energy, sourcing stuff that's more sustainable, like palm oil and all that. And we had so many initiatives that it was almost like overwhelming, and it was a bit patchworky. So around like a year, 2 years ago, we created a framework that we call Restaurant Brands for Good. And we have 3 pillars on this framework. One pillar is around the food, another pillar is around the planet, and another pillar is around people and communities. Yeah. So and we believe that Restaurant Brands for Good, this framework that we have, it's essential in us achieving our vision of creating the most loved brands in the restaurant industry. So it's part of our business strategy. Yeah. And that's where things like Moldy Whopper come from. Like it's part of like cleaning up artificial stuff of the ingredients, like Project Meltdown, which we did, I think a year ago in the UK. We removed non-biodegradable plastic toys from the toys that could go on the kids' meals, and we have a commitment to remove from all countries. And Cow's menu comes from that pillar of planet. Yeah. On the people and communities, just out of curiosity, we have a lot of D&I efforts. We made RBI 100% CEI, which is the Corporate Equality Index. That's calculated by the Human Rights Campaign. We have lots of initiatives around race, gender diversity. All that stuff falls into that. It's a separate topic for a different conversation. But So it all comes from the strategy of the company. So it's embedded in our business plan. In the specific case of Caos Menu, this is a project that we've been working for 2 years. Around 2 years ago, we believers, Marco and Gustavo, came to us saying like, "Hey, I mean, these guys, I mean, I love them. They are really good thinkers in terms of advertising in general, but they have a really their heart. They have a lot of heart for sustainability projects, right? Since like six-pack edible ring, which you guys probably remember, right? So they come up to us and said, "Hey, I know that you're working on sustainability. You can do whatever analysis you want. Methane emissions from cattle is one of the biggest contributors of greenhouse gases. And there are lots of scientists out there studying how to reduce that. In fact, they were in a conference in Europe to see some of the scientists talking and identified this guy who's a professor in Mexico, in Toluca, who was studying for 10 years how to reduce methane emissions by adding some natural stuff on the feed of the cow. Yeah. So I thought it was really interesting. I jumped on a plane, went with these guys to Toluca in Mexico. This is 2 years ago. I met Professor Octavio Ortega and his team. He showed me that they were working with a flower that is only grows in Mexico. We thought it was really interesting. There was potential on the stuff, but we thought that, and we wanted to partner with them because I wanted to find a solution that could potentially be scalable. Like the flower from Mexico is not scalable. And then we did a new round of research that we helped with some funding, and we found that lemongrass, 100 grams of lemongrass, adding that to the feed of the cow can reduce methane emissions by up to 33%. And we were really excited about that. We know that it's just the beginning of the research. We have to replicate the study in the US. We tried to replicate it once. The results were not so favorable because the lemongrass was different. So we created a specification for lemongrass. We are replicating the study in Europe. We're replicating the study in Brazil because the feed is different, the cow is different. So we want to make sure that it all works. But we made everything public. This project is much more than just the music video. If you go to rbi.com/sustainability, you will see it's an open source formulation. We could have patented, we didn't. We put forward like every single one of our findings is there public for other brands and competitors, whoever, to see, and hopefully we'll create a movement and help shift the industry. Why did we do a music video? It's because it's really hard to explain what I just did. For someone who's not actively paying attention, right? I mean, people are not actively paying attention to commercials and long format films and stuff like that. So we thought, why don't we sing a song? Why don't we hire someone who's very charismatic? And we found Manson Ramsey, he's not a boy, but the guy who sings the song. He's the yodeling boy from Walmart, like from that video from years ago. That was like viral. And we shot with Michel Gondry, who is amazing. And there is a whole behind the scenes of this film showing how we made everything sustainable. The choreographer was Mandy Moore from La La Land. So it's a lot of crafting to create something really special because we thought it would be worth it. And when I look at the brand metrics, which was the kind of like the main objective that we have, with the general population was to shift the perception from Burger King in terms of cool brand. It's a brand that's for me, great quality food, cares about sustainability. It all shifts, we measure all that. We are very data driven, believe it or not. But we do believe that creativity pays off. So we do stuff like that. I'm very proud of our Caos Menu project.
I love it. It's great. Obviously, you brought this up. We had to bring up Moldy Whopper. We have to. Congratulations on your award. You already won this year. I think more, I'm sure, will be coming. But cool. Also, you got a little flack for it from inside the industry. So 6 months later, how do you feel about that campaign?
I love it.
You're like, I won awards. It's good.
No, it's like, look, I think it's very flattering when we get recognition for creative work that we do. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm very flattered, and I do believe that the more recognition we get, the more good work we end up doing. It's almost like a self-fulfilling prophecy because we start to be perceived as a client that wants to do good work. So the creative teams from the agencies that we work with want to work with us. and they are not going to hold back in presenting an idea, especially the younger creative teams of the agency that we work with. They all want to do work for BK because they know that we know that we believe that great work is work on the street. We make stuff happen. And I think it can be very frustrating for a creative person when you have a great idea, but like the idea just lives on the PowerPoint. Anyway, so Moldy, it's funny because I know that Moldy generated a lot of debate, but to be honest, it was more debate in the industry than real debate with real people out there. Moldy has more than 8 billion impressions. It has mostly positive, neutral sentiment, which is pretty much aligned with all the campaigns that we do. It shifts all the brand attributes when it comes to food quality. It did help drive sales. And no matter what I say, there will be always someone who will raise their hand and say "Oh, I don't believe on that." What can I tell you? I don't know what to say. I don't need to lie on that stuff,
Yeah.
And the thing is, we did try to land message around. We don't have artificial colors, flavors, and this and that. And no one has ever asked me a question about any of that because no one remembers. It's like, look, it's very important what you're doing. But in the grand scheme of things in your life, if you're not in the industry and if you're not a big fan of Burger King, I'm sure that there are other things that are more interesting in watching than a Burger King ad. I think Anselmo has been talking a lot about that on his tweets around the fact that people don't want to see your work. So it puts more responsibility in us marketeers and the creative industry to come up with stuff that makes it relevant, because it is relevant, but we need to wrap it up on something that makes it very relevant. And Moldy to me is self-deprecating, honest, real, in your face. No one would do that in our industry, and it lends the message. And if that help us, and if as a result of that, we get recognition from the industry, like the best of show of the one show, 5 pencils on the EAND. I'm sad that Clio has to wait for next year, but I'm sure it will probably get something there too. I'm very proud of it. I'm not going to lie to you. I believe in creativity, and this is a piece of creation that did deliver results. And it's great when the industry recognize it for what's worth, regardless of the fact that there are a few people that may have criticized it, which is fine. I always tell this to marketeers. I think it's a really important message for my class, which is, if you're doing something relevant, it will get criticized. If no one is criticizing, it's probably because what you're doing is not standing out or is not as relevant. All the work that I did for Dove, which was super inspirational in my view, and very positive and had purpose, there were people who criticized, and it's fine, because it made it again. If you have to discuss things, you probably don't want to discuss a Burger King ad. If you are discussing a Burger King ad, it's because we did strike a nerve and made it somehow relevant, and that's why you're talking about it.
Yeah, I mean,
we talk about it all the time, me and Tim. So sorry.
But fair. I would say though that I know you don't believe that all PR is good PR. I know that that's not a philosophy that you really do, and so it goes. To me, it kind of goes back to stuff like Eat Like Andy, which was very celebrated in the industry, finished at the bottom of the ad meter on the Super Bowl that year. So I'm just wondering what your risk reward ratio is when you think about going into doing something kind of polarizing.
I think maybe Moldy could have been polarizing. I don't know if Cow's Menu would be polarizing or Angie would be polarizing. I think that Angie scored at the bottom of the ad meter, which I know you're not going to believe, but we kind of celebrated that a little bit. Because I think it's a good claim to have on your CV. Angie was created to generate debate and for people to search. We saw that the sentiment on Angie starts negative and then moves positive as people understand what was behind that. It was really Angie Warhol, it was not like a fake or deep fake or anything like that. And when the ad meter voting happens, it's just just after. So it ended up like being much more positive than I think what the admirer reflects. The way I see things is I always see like we have our strategy, yeah, we have our brand positioning, and we have like the objectives that we have for the year and all that stuff. If an idea delivers against the strategy, is aligned with the positioning, it's very likely that we are going to pull the trigger on it. And we never pitch, we never brief more than one agency on the same thing. We don't do that stuff. When sometimes, for instance, there were occasions around Halloween that we had our agencies proactively coming up to us with ideas. And instead of saying, we are going to do this because it's better than that, we did all of them. There were some Halloweens that we did 4 or 5 ideas across the globe. On COVID, we did like more than 20 ideas. Because you never know what's really going to hit like a home run. But we do know that the downside is very small, if any. So we are more on the yes side, and that's why we work with creative partners that we trust. Then on the no side, and I think that RBI empowers people like me and people that are on my team to make those calls, which I think is great. Like a Moldy Whopper was like a conversation between me and Chris Finazzo, who is the president for Burger King in North America. I explained to him the idea without showing a single image, and he was like, "I love it. Let's do it." And between him and me, he has the media money. I was creating the thing together with Ivo, which is a guy from Sweden, from BK Sweden. We were able to pull it off. So it's a very nimble, empowered system and process, and probably that's why we're able to do so much, sometimes with so little.
Is there any other creative work out there that you're seeing from other brands, companies that you really like lately, especially during this time, that you would call out?
Look, I mean, I love our industry, and I love when people do great work. Seeing great work from other brands inspires me to try to do even better, not in a competitive way, but because I know that I'm competing for attention from people. So when Microsoft was announced as brand of the year in Cannes, or when they won something, I sent a note to their CMO, I forgot her name, saying congratulations, for the work you're doing. Like the other day, I sent a note to the guys. What's the name of the brand? I always forget because it's from Europe. Like the female care brand that did Blood Normal.
The breasts.
Yeah. So like I sent an email to them saying like, guys, I mean, this was like beyond, it was amazing what they did. And sometimes like I don't even send an email, just send a message on LinkedIn to the person. So I really believe that creativity can be a source of competitive advantage. And I love creative in general. So I celebrate when other people do great work, whether it's Nike, Adidas, who continuously do good work, whether it's a brand that I'm not so familiar with, like Libres, or Microsoft, who has done some really cool work over time. There are many other people out there. KFC, McDonald's, every now and then hits out of the park. I still love that out of home that they did. That was the Grand Prix a couple of 1-2 years ago. It's just I know that some people criticize. They say it's a terrible time for advertising. I don't think so. I think we continue to evolve in this industry, and there is lots of good work out there.
I wanted to just briefly, you mentioned your earlier career. You were at Unilever for a long time. You did the beauty sketches there with Anselmo. You did, some great work with Vaseline too. What did you learn creatively, not just about purpose, but creatively from those brands that sort of still applies today?
Man, I was so lucky. I was lucky to work with people who for no reason invested on developing me. I was lucky to work with creative people who were patient enough to listen to all the BS that I was probably saying on my feedbacks or on my briefs and help me know better. I think it took me 10 years to still like an ad a year after I did it. because I was learning so much that I would do something and think, oh, this is amazing. And then 3 months later, I was like, what the hell I was thinking? It's terrible. Um, and people like the team that I work on, PBH New York. Oh, look at the team I had with PBH New York when I was working for Vaseline. It was Cash Sri, Craig Smith, Julian Katz, Sarah Thompson, who is the chairman for Droga 5. It's like out of this world. Emma Cookson was my planner. Like I remember entering my first meeting for Vaseline, Emma Cookson's presenting position. I was coming from Mexico, was like a director for skincare there. I was like, holy shit. It's almost like I'm a really good runner on my island, and you take me to watch the Olympics. I'm like, holy crap, like next level. And then I was lucky to work with Steve Miles, who was my boss on Vaseline, who was my boss on Dove. He retired from Unilever last year. He's awesome. We did sketches together. And the work with Ogilvy, with Anselmo, with Tete, with so many other people that I had the opportunity to meet. So I think that the thing that I've learned the most is to invest time to learn the craft and learn the industry, so as to improve my criteria. You know what I mean? Like, and it's funny because my mom asks me, like, so what do you do? And she probably explains to her friends, oh, he does all the advertising for Burger King. And she probably thinks I film the ads or that I write the scripts, but I don't do any of that. I think that the thing that I've learned the most is no one is born knowing advertising. But if you really love it and invest a lot of time and you have like the right people around you, you may learn something and develop your criteria, and then that will help you do better work.
I get emails from people thinking that I made the ads. So one other career question for you. You presumably won't be at Burger King forever. Do you think, what do you think your next step might be? Or is, moving up to RBI and having Popeyes and some other outlets, is that sort of keeping you happy right now?
Man, I mean, I'm happy here. I think that there are very few companies out there who value creativity and empower teams to do what we do here. It's a very transparent, down to earth, humble company. No one has an office. My boss is an awesome guy, Jose Seal. He's the CEO. He is probably he usually walking around in jeans and running shoes. And if I need to talk to him, I don't schedule a meeting. We just talk. We grab a coffee together. And I love that. I love my team here. And when I say here, it's not just in Miami. It's our marketing team across the globe. We have 200, 300 marketeers. If I count the master franchisees that manage marketing for us in some of our key countries. And I'm having fun with Popeyes. We have an awesome team. I'm having fun with Tim Hortons, which is a brand that we are investing a lot behind too in Canada. So far so good. I need to be honest with you, I'm happy here. I think that I still have a lot to do in terms of sustainability, in terms of cleaning up the products, in terms of D&I. I'm part of the D&I steering committee for the company, and that's the thing. I see myself as one of the leaders on the company. It happens that I am the CMO and that I have a direct impact on the marketing team, but the influence that I can have, because I've been here for almost 7 years now, it's much greater than just marketing, and I love that. So.
Cool. I'm just wondering also, I know it's hard to predict anything at the moment, but what do you think the next 6 to 12 months looks like for Burger King, for Popeyes? And also, so what are you personally most hopeful for over the next year?
Yeah, look, I think that the back half of this year, it's still a period of recovery. We all hospitality, hotels, restaurants, they were affected dramatically by COVID, right? Some brands more, some brands less, but all brands affected. And I think that we are climbing our way back to what it was before, maybe a little bit better. I think we are going to leave all this stronger than when we started. We definitely accelerated dramatically our digital capabilities, and I think that most other brands did the same. I think our teams are united more than ever before, because even though we are not in the office together, we are very close together, especially internationally with the international markets. I think that it's almost like you went through something really hard together. That group becomes stronger. You see what I'm saying? Like, it becomes more united, it becomes more transparent, it becomes more real. And hopefully, like, next year will be a record year for us, because I hope that a vaccine, or we can get to a solution on this over the next 6 to 9 months. Again, I told you I was hopeful. I was like very optimistic by nature, and I think people will be more comfortable going to the streets, coming to the restaurants, and all that. I think we managed really well considering the limitations that we had, and the inputs that we had, and hopefully next year will be a much more positive year for everyone. That's how I think.
I
pray for that too. I mean, there's so much going on, but you are doing such a great job, and we thank you for even giving us this time. We thank you for being part of our family, because that's how we feel. We appreciate that you're dealing with the work from home situation.
No, it's all good. But I think that's a good thing.
It is a good thing.
You know why? Because like in the past, in most companies, there'll be always someone calling in, right? Someone on a video, and it's almost like, oh fuck, we need to dial Joseph.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and then people were like a bit embarrassed that the baby's crying. I had Oliver crying in the background. No one cares.
Yeah.
Like everyone knows.
It happens now. No one. It's normal life, and they're happy to see your life. So.
Yeah, and hopefully, this will change us for the good. And it will be a lasting change, and people will have more flexibility, be more mindful.
I agree.
People have a personal life. That like people have kids, and that they have to deal with stuff.
Yeah, they have to deal with everything going around you. Yeah, going on.
We were just talking before the show. I've seen Nicole more than I ever have. Since
we are now always together.
I say that too, Tim. Like with our international markets, I see the guys much more frequent now, and it was always the same distance. It's just that it became much easier and more of a habit. Like, I just press a button, and we can get someone on our video conference, and it's
amazing.
Totally.
Well, thank you again. Have a great rest of the week. We love you and your family. Cheers.
Good to talk to you.
Cheers. Bye, Fernando. That was fun. Thank God he's a part of our family, because this one was just having a good time.
That's all right. He's
but love speaking about his brand and talking with him. He's just a gem. So, thanks, Tim.
And that's all we have this week. Thank you guys for watching. For the latest in creativity news every day, please visit musebykclio.com. And of course, we're back here every Thursday with new episodes of On Brand. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week.